first, I want to start with just this before we get to the clips. Biggest takeaway from Ryan Poles talking this morning for each of us. We'll go through this quickly, but for me, it is when Greg asked him about comparisons between Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes, he didn't shy away from it. This is a guy who scouted Patrick Mahomes, was part of the Chiefs organization in Kansas City, knows a little something about that. Now, he didn't go all the way in and say, yeah, they're exactly the same, but he said there are pieces that are similar. So this is the team and the general manager that has the number 1 overall pick in this draft, and not shying away from that comparison. Because let me tell you, the normal GM response to that would be something that I think actually Adam Peters gave you later this morning, the Commanders GM, when you tried to get him on some of that. It wasn't exactly the same question, but you asked him about the quarterbacks, and he was just like, I'm not ready to talk about that yet. We're not that far along enough in this process. That's the normal GM response.
Right.
So that stood out to me that, oh, okay, we're not shying away from Mahomes here.
Well, and we'll hear the question here in a little bit, but I really framed it in a sense of what Cliff Kingsbury said, because to me that stands out. This is a guy that coached both Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams. He's called them eerily similar. Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus had an offensive coordinator meeting with him this year to obviously do a lot of digging into, the potential of, a guy like that being your offensive coordinator, but also probably more importantly, deeper dive into the potential of Caleb Williams. So they've just talked, with him. And so I think that that's a big part of this evaluation is the coaches that have taught these guys through college.
All right, we're keeping moving. We're going to talk about more of that later. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, he leaned into the arm angle is what I just wanted to say about that part, the creative ability to throw. And yes, we'll hear the quote in a little bit. It was a great job by you, Gregory, with the question. My biggest takeaway is that Ryan Poles feels way more on edge now than he did a year ago at this time. Not saying that he's losing his mind, not saying that
that was your biggest takeaway.
Oh,
that he wants this done tomorrow.
Okay, so you're going back. You're going back to what I said then. That was a long time ago. I have a lot of thoughts now.
You changed in the last 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, okay. So now I'm off track.
It's kind of the same thing,
right? But I just think he is exactly. It's the same general point that look. He would like to have this thing done tomorrow. That's what he said. And the media laughed at him, but he's like, no, I'm serious. I'd like to have this done tomorrow because he's sitting on a very hot, stressful seat. He's got to make this decision. And he's talked over and over again about how he wants to do right by Justin and how he's kept in contact with Justin's team. And nobody wants to live in the gray is how he put it. So the liking and respect for Justin, of course, was there again. And then the last part for me, and I'm sorry, I went a little long here, Hoge, but he leaned into the person. The person matters to him who he's putting in that locker room if he's going to take Justin out of it. So that's the final piece that that he's going to have here at the Combine.
And you just said it. That for me is the biggest takeaway is him saying, I got to do right by Fields. I think for most fans, that's what stood out the most.
I'm going to stick to the script here because the NFL scripted, we're scripted. Jalen Johnson's contract, they said it's in the process of getting Jalen done. Conversation are going well. So there is a newsy item there. They obviously want to have Jalen Johnson. Would prefer not to do the franchise tag, but are still working on getting that longer-term contract done.
We all silly like the mayor.